Welcome back, folks. Dow Industrials finished up 23. Dow Industrials up 6. Nasdaq is up 23. S&Ps are up 4. Let's go over to our man, Mr. Chris Gaffney. Chris is the president of EverBank World Markets. And, folks, as you come over to our website at TFNN, on the right-hand side, you're going to see the EverBank banner stepping into foreign currencies. And when we talk about volatility out here, we have had not only some heavy volatility inside the commodity markets, but these currency markets have been moving around in a huge way. Chris Gaffney, welcome back to TFNN.
Thanks, Tom. It's great to be here. We really a pretty calm day today when you take it all in. I mean, but this week has certainly had some events that pushed the markets. Yeah,
when you take a look, whether we're talking, if we're looking at the peso, if you're looking at the Canadian dollar, the loonie, our own dollar can't seem to catch a bid. It's kind of intriguing looking at this, how this whole thing is shaken out. And, of course, we have so many news events. It's like, okay, do you want your money in the market? Do you kind of, want to go in a safe position?
Well, and it's all about diversification, and that's what we've been preaching for a long time. I know you're
Yes.
a big fan of it also. And both, precious metals, foreign currencies are two asset classes that really provide an investor a bit of safety in being, across many different asset classes instead of just concentrated in that one asset class. And equity is great. They've had a great run here, but, valuations, I just did a piece the other day for our website that talks about valuations and how we're looking pricey in here, and that's not saying that they can't go higher, but I think it's a good time to maybe put on some insurance, and certainly precious metals and foreign currencies are two asset classes that can provide that portfolio insurance for you.
Yes, you know what is amazing too is that when you look at the gold market, the bottom line is that as you said, our equity markets are higher. The dollar basically can't catch the bid. Every time that gold actually tries to get sold off, it just won't get sold off, man. I mean, there's a floor there, and I think part of it's everybody looks at that intrinsic value and maybe wants to see something solid, solid in their portfolio that they can lean back on if they want to at some point. But yes.
You mentioned Mexico, Canada. I mean, the whole NAFTA questions. They've certainly been impacted by the Trump administration. First of all, with his campaign pledges to build the wall, Mexico certainly, and then with all the trade negotiations, they are our largest trading partners, so I think that we will eventually get it all settled down, but that just seems to be kind of the negotiating style that's currently talk about blowing stuff up, and then agreements, not killing agreements, and then come back and agrees. But the currencies are beaten down a little bit. A lot of them, we've been in a 5-year dollar rally, and so now's a good time to actually start looking at investing into them because they're cheaper. Now's the time to look, and we provide a easy way for investors to get into the foreign currency markets. And if you want a dollar cost average, we can do that also. So for as little as $100 a month, you can take a position in either a currency or a precious metal, which is really a great way, dollar cost averaging of establishing that position.
It certainly is. And, folks, as you hit the banner on the right-hand side, you're going to see, how this works. What's so cool about this, when I was going through all the currencies, it's amazing how many currencies you have, number one. Now, the cool thing, folks, is this. Whether, I know I've explained this to you before, but we got some people that have already bought some land in Mexico. They're buying more land in Mexico, and I know they have an account over there, and it's a cool way of doing it. We're coming up to the summer. There's plenty of people that, whether their children are going to school in Europe, whether they're going to take a vacation, the way this plan works, folks, is that you can either open it with $2,500 or you can do $100 a month purchase plan. And when you see the amount of currencies, when I was looking at the available currencies today, Chris, it was amazing that, sometimes we just don't look at them. I think about the euro, and I'm thinking, well, geez, the euro is almost all of Europe, but it isn't. You got the Danish, you got the Swedish,
Polish, Czech, Hungary.
Right.
even Russia. I mean, it's certainly a speculative call, but some of the best performing currencies year to date are some of those somewhat speculative currencies. And one in particular, I mean, Mexican peso. You've heard about all the all the bad news on Mexico, but their currency's been one of the best performers versus the U.S. dollar so far this year. It's up about 8%, over 8% now. So
and then what you have, which is really cool, folks, the British pound. Okay, so if we take a look at the pound, this is just amazing because the pound, folks, okay, in 2007 was trading at $2.17 to the U.S. dollar, and guess what? You can open an account right now, and the pound is $1.29 to the U.S. dollar.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I was looking at this earlier, and I'm saying to myself, I never realized the pound had got that killed, man. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, that Brexit just really hammered the traders hammered the pound after the Brexit. But Prime Minister May's starting to negotiate their way out of the EU, and it looks like it may not be as horrible for the European or the United Kingdom as originally thought. And so the pound's actually recovered a little bit, even at 129. But
exactly.
It's still cheap. It's still cheap, whether you're traveling there or as an investment. I mean, it's a great place to put money.
And of course, what people always say, you'd love to sell, at highs and buy at lows. And, folks, we're not at the low, okay? But what you do have is that when you look at it, this has been bouncing around this low for 8 months now. The 118 is the low. It's like, what I love about this trade, Chris, is that you're talking about Britain. You're talking about London. Andy and I were talking a little bit earlier, and it seems that in our trading lifetimes, it's like, how many times did you hear that London's not going to be the same, New York's not going to be the same, Singapore's not going to be the same, Hong Kong's not going to be the same, and guess what? They just keep coming back.
Well, yeah. I mean, it will continue. They're going to negotiate, like I said. May's strengthening her position right now with the early election, and they're going to negotiate a good deal for the financial firms to try to keep it as the center of finance in Europe. You bring up Singapore, which is another good, another financial center, and another currency that we offer that is a way to play into the Asian market. So there's a lot of stories out there, a lot of, an investor, if you read something or hear something about a certain area, you can log in and see if we offer their currency and find out more about that currency and make an investment into that currency.
And what happens, folks, with these is there's no monthly account fee. You got a high-yield cash management account. You're FDIC insured. It's IRA eligible. It's available for businesses, all of the above. So come over to our website at TFNN. You'll see on the right-hand side, you can hit the EverBank banner. Great way to be diversified in a huge way. Chris, it's always a pleasure. That pound trade, I'll tell you, I like that pound. I think,
it's cheap.
It is. It absolutely is. Well, thank you so much. You have a great one, a safe one. Of course, we look forward to having you on again.
Thanks.
Thank you. You stay right there, folks. We're coming back with some more earnings. Going to be right back.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how EverBank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? EverBank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? EverBank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. EverBank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. EverBank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.